Hello and welcome to the lecture. So in the previous sections we saw about the interactive grid and its complete features under the AJAX APIs, where we can use the model APIs and even the grid side and add our own toolbar buttons and add the actions as well. A lot of things on the selection change and more customization can be done on this interactive grid with respect to this AJAX APIs. But now we are going to focus more at the generic level, at the framework side, where we want to use the AJAX APIs as the most one, where we'll be seeing at the ajax.message at the first in our lecture, and we'll see more on that in the later on. So AJAX has various things, and now we are going to see with the ajax.message API. So it has a lot of things. So starting from at the basic side, I will be explaining what a browser alert does. So if I'm gonna put the browser alert like alert of hi or something, it's showing me an alert from the browser side. And basically this works in all pages where the JavaScript is running everywhere in these browsers, and if you put alert of something, it works in as a random name what you type. So that's about the alert one, but this is with respect to the browser side. So AJAX come up with the new kind of UI for the alert for the user, and you'll be seeing that alert in more cases where you'll be seeing like correct errors before saving. In that UI is what the ajax.message.alert runs. So if I put ajax.message.alert, and here I'm putting some random message, so this is the ajax.message.alert. so this prints that in the same way what we want to see the hi, but in a different UI, I mean like a model dialog. So you can see that the background is a bit faded, and you can see this as the center focused and with the middle here, and this draggable as well. So it shows a beautiful kind of a thing for this UI that can be showing something to the user in the center, like an alert that user can have the only one option to press, that's the OK. So he has to be known. So that's about some example if you wanna see, like if you have remembered this error, like correct your errors before saving. This will be happening if you want to see at the validations if you have had it. So it will be shown like this kind of from the backend, or somewhere it will be showing from the AJAX side. So this is about that what it operates. Even I have an example. So this is a primary key, right? So if I type some entity which is repeated, it will be automatically triggered. So you can see that duplicate identity because I'm typing the 4, and this is a primary key. And this is a ajax.message.alert. It's using that with the message as duplicate identity and with the OK button only. So this is about that. And even under the ajax.message, that is the ajax.message object, right, we have various things to be seen. So first we saw about the alert, right, and we do have a lot of things from the confirm and even the success message side and error side and show dialog. A lot of things out there. So mostly we'll be using the alert and this errors, confirm, and the success, hide page success and show page success, and the show errors as well with respect to clear errors. And show dialog is added in the newer versions, and it's very useful for customization the dialogues. So these dialogues are built from the jQuery library. So that's about more using on our customization side. So if you wanna see some more examples, like opening something, a new tab, what you want, like some unalert message, you can design that, like for an example, if I put the previous one, it's just an OK button and it doesn't do anything, but ajax.message.alert has a second parameter which is a callback, and we can add that and add our own logic to that. So let me show you. So basically we are not showing any kind of functionality here with respect to our side. So we will be seeing that in our more example way, like we have some alert message, right? So that we will also replace that later. So now coming to the second parameter, so here you have a second parameter that acts as the callback, and this can be empty, and here we are gonna put a message here. So like not a message, like command for the expression of JavaScript. So basically window.open will open in a new tab, like basically you can take this example which I have open. So this is about opening the APIX documentation. So this has we're gonna open this in a new tab when we click OK. So this would be like new page is opening, like something, there's a random message. So this will open, window.open will be opening in new tab. So that's about that. So if I click OK, it will open me a new tab. So basically what that window.open does, so if you want to understand, so what this window.open does is it opens in a new tab. That's it, with that URL what you passed in as the parameters. So if you want this example, maybe what we can understand, like with the about, maybe we can make use of this as this example, apex.message.alert. So we can copy this and go to the toolbars where we have added. So this is on the attribute side in this interactive grid region. So here we added this my info, this about the one which you have seen in the IG lectures. So here we added that, and we'll just replace this because this will now show me just about IG. So we are gonna replace that, and let me format this. Okay, so we will just show more information can be seen on official website. Okay, so this is about the apex.oracle.com, and I'm gonna see this in my application. And even we have a few of the alert messages, we can replace that. So that's on here, so on the same side. So I'll just copy this apex.message dot, just only needs to be prefixed, and I can just show this as an insert because we can see that here I'm just showing an alert. So we can make use of our own apex.message.alert. So it's about that. And refresh, and now you can see the one which we have implemented. If I click about, it's showing more effects, more information can be seen on official website. So if I click OK, it's opening the website on apex.oracle.com/documentation. This is about that, and now this is about the alert now. So we can add a callback and whatever things we want. So that's one more thing, like if you remember, like two choices of buttons. So here the alert has only one choice and you're forced to click that. And if you want a choice of something that user can say like yes or no kind of a thing, so we can make use of that as well. So that is the confirm. So if I put apex.message.confirm, so this has, like, maybe you can put a message like, do you want to continue, like some kind of a thing. And this one would be confirm, which we have seen in the API under the apex.message. So now if I put this, you can understand that we have two buttons, one with the OK as the hot button and the cancel. So basically we didn't add any callback here as the next two parameters. So OK does nothing, and even if I put that again, and cancel does nothing. So this is about the with respect to confirm. And for a practical application over this can be seen in this when you're making changes and you're trying to search the IG, you're getting a warning like there are unsaved changes, you want to continue. So this is about the confirm apex.message.confirm. So if I click cancel, nothing happens, it is just closing and nothing has changed. So if I click go again, the same pop-up comes. Now if I click OK, some other functionality is called and you can see the changes here. So this is about that. So let's revert this, reset here. So this is about the apex.message.confirm. So we didn't add any callback, right? So callback can be added as two parameters, one with respect to, not two parameters, it's one parameter with a callback that has two conditions as the parameter inside that function. So let me explain over here so it will be very understanding. So we are gonna redesign, rewrite this to some other like confirm. So more information can be seen on official website. Do you want to continue? So we are giving an option to the user and we can use that as okay. By default, if you didn't do anything, no logic is written, you would be having just a close. It will just close the dialog. So here, to detect whether user is clicking the OK button or the cancel button, we have P option. I'm used to P data, so like P option maybe. So if the P option is true, then a user is clicking the OK button. So it passes like that as here in this callback. So means if I put if of P option here, so this would be redirecting. So if I click OK, then this will open. Else case also you can add it, but in my case I'm just using so let's see this and we'll add the else condition. And now if I close this and save, and now if I click the about after refreshing, it will be different. And if I click about, so we are getting the message, more information can be seen on our official website, do you want to continue? So if I click cancel, nothing happens because that's the default behavior. And if I click OK, it is going to the P option, the parameter as true, so it's gonna be executing that logic. So if you want a cancel condition, you can put the else case. So yes, the same thing, you can put apex.message.alert. So you can put like the dialog is closed, something just like for an example. So we are just putting this and clicking on OK and save. Now we have two different customization on what we want. So if I click about and OK, redirects as expected. And now if I put the cancel, so it is showing me that the dialog is closed, so that apex.message.alert is called. So it's about that. So what you can understand, basically it closes and calls that. So that's about these two buttons. And you can understand now what's the apex.message.alert and the confirm. So now we have one more thing, that is about the customization more on this dialog, where we want to add more buttons and add our title here. So you can understand that we don't have any title here and we have only fixed to two buttons. If you want to add more buttons and want to add the title or some other options, if you're familiar with the jQuery dialog, you can make use of that in this Oracle Apex, this API which is the apex.message.show dialog. So show dialog is nothing. If I put a blank one, it is just putting the same alert, but it doesn't have any callback here when we click OK. But you can customize it because it is returning an HTML element. So a jQuery dialog returns like the same, so you have to make use of that. So I have written an example so I can explain you very well. So you can see, let me go to that code. So this is about the show dialog. So here I will explain. So you can understand that this is the part which we have seen till now. It just shows me that message. Since it returns me the HTML things not undefined as we have seen in the confirm or alert, we can follow this with the function .dialog. This works on the jQuery dialog only. So if you're familiar with that, and inside this we are having the object. So here I can put the title key that can be used as the value which we want as the title. And addition to that, we have buttons here as the buttons as the array of objects. So here I can see I have 3 buttons, 3 objects as here. So in these 3 objects I can put some more objects like the text, what is the label of this button, and class I will be coming back. It's just for an addition for my hot element. It's not very important, I just added for some differentiation. And more importantly is the click, what we want when we click on that button. So here basically I have put text and click as the same. I mean the click as the same. So text is varying like yes, no, cancel, you can understand here. So click does the same as the close. So we'll copy this and implement in our application in a more meaningful way, so you can understand. And even there are various options. You can check the jQuery UI dialog documentations where you can add a draggable dialog, and also you can add various useful things. So whenever you are closing the dialog, you can also add that, and so much things are there on this jQuery UI dialog. So we are gonna cover very basic side with respect to our example. So this more covers on adding new buttons and the title, which is very useful in the development. That's why I have chosen this one. So I'm copying this and let me paste it here so you can understand. So now you can understand we have the 3 buttons as you imagine, yes, no, cancel, and the message has say the changes and view the selected records. So you can understand I'm gonna add this with respect to the selected records button. So if I click yes, it is the same. The URL of this represents with respect to this one the returned element dot dialog of close. So that means it will call the close option of the dialog. So everything will be closed. If I click yes also it will be closed. If I click no also it will be closed, because everything is same. We didn't add anything, so cancel as well. So we are going to add some things with the yes and no buttons so that we can add some meaningful way. So we are going to add like show selected records. So whenever the grid has any changes, so we can add this in the with respect to this functionality. So APEX has an API where we can detect the changes. So what I am telling, so we have the stores model, right? This interactive grid, the stores model, if you have seen in the previous lecture, this was the model elements. So this has like get changes. So this get changes is an empty array now. So adding this if condition, so I'm just putting this some changes here in this IG. So if I put this, and you can see the array is not empty now, and you can see some information on the record as well. So this is the way we are gonna put with the if condition. So we are gonna check for the changes. If there are changes, we will show this dialog, and if there's the dialog has the 3 options, so based on that we will be choosing with respect to save and open, and don't save and open, and cancel does nothing. So it's about that we are gonna show. So we will implement that here. So in the show selected records, where we have in the JavaScript initialization code, so here we have, so here we added with respect to the action, as you remember. So that's about the my button. So my button toolbar is the show selected records here. So this has the one. So what we gonna do is we have this apex.navigation.redirect, right? So this is the one that is redirecting to that. So before redirecting, we have to make use of the if condition here. So as we have written with the get changes, stores model dot get changes, so we'll copy this and we can use the length object. So if it is length is 0, there is no changes. I mean, the greater than 0 means there is a changes. So I can make use of this here. So I will make this as a, with respect to a large if condition, because this has many lines will be coming, and I will put here as the if condition. So I'm putting if that one and dot length greater than 0, and I'll put that what we want to show that dialog, right? So we will copy that here and we'll paste that, and we'll just format this a bit. Okay, so we have formatted, and we will add our logic. So this as the S1, we have to save it and open. So for saving, we have the invoke save, right? So if I go to this dynamic action here, so over the save click, so this is the save IG. So we are gonna use this for our save case. So I'm gonna copy this and go it to this point, and on the yes side we have to save it and close it and then redirect it. So we have to do 3 things. So redirect we have here, so this will save that and close that and then redirect it. So that's about that. So this does that way, and no, it doesn't do anything. It will just redirect. It will close it and we will redirect. And cancel is what? Nothing, just close that dialog. If you want, just click it again. So it's about that. So we have this logic ready here. So I hope you can understand that how these are done. Only if the changes is there, we will do. So this should be in the else case, and I'm putting else condition, and you can understand now. So we have this cases only if it's not an error. We are gonna check for the changes and open the dialog if it is having any changes, and show the message as save the changes, and view the selected records with the title save the changes, and show 3 buttons yes, no, and cancel. With the yes button invoking the save, I mean saving the IG, closing it and redirecting, and no, closing it and redirecting, and cancel, nothing, just closing it. If there's no changes, do the default functionality which we have implemented earlier. So this is about that, and let us see this in action, like a more practical approach. And we can see now with the refresh. So if I show selected records, it will open with no message, so that's fine. So if I do something changes like online store or something, and if I click show selected records, if I click no, nothing will open because the online is the previous changes. And now if I click show selected records and cancel, nothing, and show selected records and yes, and this will open after saving it. So you can understand here with the latest one. So now you got that. And for explaining this class functionality which I was telling here, over this class we can add with respect to what we want on this button. This is with respect to button. So basically this is with respect to the AJAX class UI at the template level, UI button hot. So if I put the ajax.message.alert for an example, so if you see this and you will inspect this particular OK, so you have this thing, right, UI button hot. So if I gonna remove this in our element, so it will try to remove that hot button. So that class is holding all these background colors and the change of font and everything, the bolding it. So all these are holding in this class, so that's why I'm using the class again. But I'm not telling to recommend this way. It's about more on what you want with respect to the hot button, just for my differentiation which I want with respect to the changes. So I'm just showing this with this model dialog. So that's about that. So additionally you can check with respect to this one or what you want, And actually I have made this in with respect to after fetching the data from the server, but I should have made this over on top before the function itself, and that's not an issue. Okay, no, but it's just an example, and this should be on the top of here itself, but it's fine. So basically we are just trying to do some example, so that's why some lag is there when I click show selected records. So it's about that, and now you can understand with respect to this one show dialog, and we'll be seeing now with the next one, that is the apex.message.show success. So we saw in success, right? So what we have seen here, so if I click save, you can see that this success message. So if you wanna make use of that for the JavaScript, so we can use the show page success, that API, and inside you have to type that message. So let me close this, and I will write data successfully saved, like that. So this is about that, and it's showing here. So with that, it's adding that message what we want inside this, you know, this green box what you can see with the tick, and we have the close as well. So this is showing that. And if you want to hide this, so basically you have set a timeout for your case, and you want to hide it after 5 seconds. If you have written such logic, you can make use of the hide page success. So basically it doesn't support any parameters, so I'm just putting h, it will show me in the suggestion, and I'm putting here, so it will hide me that success message. So it's about setting the success timer if you want, show it, and after some few seconds where you can use the set timeout or something, then with that you can clear that. So it's about that. And addition to this errors, we have the show errors as well. So as we have seen with respect to this apex.message with the other functionality, this show errors. So show errors, I have an example here. So basically this is about with respect to page as well as the page item which we have. So this is p2 store id, right, if you remember the name. So in my example, which I have pasted it here, and I will explain. So this is an array, it supports an array of objects, apex.message.show errors, the parameter here, and here we have the type, which is an error. We are going to show the error, right? So it's an error type. And location, there are two cases with an array. So one is the page level, and other is inline. So if you put inline, so it will have a mandatory parameter, that is the page item. So inline is like we are going to show error inside, on top of this page item. So we'll see when I press enter. So message is what you want to show. So you have seen with respect to a custom validity, right, we have over the cell on the IG, the same way it will be on this form item. And unsafe false is about the escaping side. So basically, you know, so this is a HTML, right? So if you want to escape the HTML, you can mention unsafe true, or if you are escaping by default, you can mention as unsafe false. So it's about that, and it's not much on this now. So let's focus on this side. So from the location page item, so this side was very important. So if I put enter, so you can see there are two things happening. So one is on this inline with this inline one, and with the page item mentioned here, right? So it's highlighting here, and also with this thing, right? So this is a page level, so it's showing me on the page. So if I remove that page, let me just, you know, refresh this, clear this, and let me remove this page. As you have seen with two things happening, right? So now if I put enter, it will not show at the page because we have selected only inline. So that's about that. And inline requires a object which is mandatory, that's page item. So this is about showing at the, you know, at the page item level as well as at the page level. If you want, you can show at the page level, and let me refresh this again. And if I clear this, we type the page, right? So it will show now only at the page level. So like it's like please select different data. That's an example, and it's not pointing out here. It's pointing out here because we mentioned page item, and yeah, that's because that. So if we remove that page item, let me refresh, because it's optional in this page location. So I'm just removing that. So it's showing some, okay, I removed the message right by default. So let me show that again. We refresh, and in the previous typed, yeah, I'll remove this page item and with the location page. So it's not showing me the hyperlink because there's no page item with respect to the page level. So now you can understand what we want. If you want to add more and show errors, you can put like a array of objects here. So I'm not covering much. So this about some cases where you want to add at our application level. So this is about that. And if you want to clear the errors, we have the clear API here as well. So if you put clear errors, it will clear every errors which are shown here, including something coming from backend as well. So it will clear those errors, and you're free to see the page without errors with this API. So it's about that. So now you can understand what's about the apex.messages. It's the message stands for our own customization, whether it's starting from the alert, confirm, our own custom dialog, our success message, and even the error message. So this is about the apex.message, and it covers this API, and we'll see more APIs in the next lecture about the apex.page and lots of things out there. So we'll see more on that in the next lecture.